Jade, and thank you so much for joining me today live in How to Be Psychic. I'm really excited to feel my fall out of my ear. I'm very excited to be here with you today and to share some additional psychic tips with you to help you with your course and your psychic studies. I'm also going to be sharing and working through with you some of the really incredible questions that have been getting asked in the Facebook group, but also that have been asked on the Q&A board as well. So what we're going to cover is we're going to be looking at the question of, can archangels be our guardian angel as well? We're going to do a fair bit today on psychic protection because I've been getting a lot of questions on psychic protection, and I have my own little theory about why I think that is, and different varieties of questions and questions I've never been asked before, so that always gets me excited. So I'm going to delve much deeper into psychic protection. We're also going to do just a little brief homage to what happens. I tend to sort of every second month when I do one of these, I do tend to deal with the probably most common asked question I get, which is, I can't see my guardian angel. I've tried the meditation, it's not working. And so I've got a little bit of a different angle on it today that's come from a student who asked something but added something additional that was a bit unusual. So I'm going to talk about that as well. I'm also going to be talking about judgment in readings and how to not avoid judgment, because sometimes that's almost impossible, but how to manage judgment. And I'm going to also talk about the concept of seeing your third eye, and if you're struggling to see your third eye, and what to do when you're feeling disconnected from your guides because of current world circumstances. And I'd also really like to do a prayer and just a little healing session for everybody at the end of this to help with what's going on in world energy and what's going on in the tragic circumstances that are happening and unfolding right now in India and across the world with COVID. So I want to talk about that a bit too. So if you are joining me live, I'd love to hear from you. Just pop your name in and say hi. Here I am from where I am. Can you also let me know if my screen is a bit fuzzy? It looks a bit fuzzy to me, and I don't know if it's out of focus because it's just me or if it's actually out of focus. So pop in if you're live. Let me know who you are, where you are from, and just before I get started. And while I'm waiting for that, I just want to also very quickly thank the following people who have taken the time and the effort to give How to Be Psychic a review this month, in the last couple of months. Thank you so much for taking the time to put those kind comments on and help other students find this course as well. So Alona Landau, Shinzia, I hope I'm saying that right. It's such a beautiful name. Nicole Daria and Kathleen Hunter, and anyone else who has taken that time to review How to Be Psychic. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hello, Kylie from Melbourne, hailing from the land of where I was born, or the place I was born. Hi, Lynn from Quebec in Canada. Kylie and Lynn, can you guys see my screen? Am I fuzzy? I know it sounds strange. It's looking fuzzy to me. I don't know if I have to adjust my focus. Hello, Ariel. How are you? So sorry for those watching the replay and going, technical difficulties. I just need to check that I'm not fuzzy because it looks fuzzy to me. I don't know if it's my camera or if it's my thing from Toronto. Hello. It's lovely to see you all. So no one's told me it's not fuzzy. Thank you, Ariel. I'm going to keep going then and pretend that it's clear and stop looking at myself. So the way, if you haven't been to one of these before, the way I usually run them is I will answer these questions that I have spoken about, that I've brought up at the very beginning. You are very welcome to ask your own questions as we go. I just might not get to them to the very end, and that's for the simple reason that if I start sort of focusing on the screen and questions, I can lose track of where I'm up to. So if you see someone ask me a question, just let them know, yes, she's going to answer this later. Like, don't worry if I haven't seen it, I haven't missed it. I'll go back and go through them all. And if you're joining me at the replay, just put hashtag replay so that I know that you're not actually here live with me, and I can jump back in and answer your questions. So let's first start with the question, can archangels be guardian angels too? Now, something that I find really interesting about this experience, and when I created this meditation years and years and years ago, I realise that what can often happen is you might not meet your actual guardian angel, like what you assume is the angel that's been to assign you at birth. Sometimes you might meet someone else. You might meet even an animal, like an animal totem. You might meet an archangel. You might meet Merlin. You might meet, like Mother Mary. You might meet Kali or Ganesha. And so for me, it's always about who is the most important guide that I need with me at this time. That to me is the big all-important question. And one of the reasons I think that sometimes our guardians aren't what appear to us, or we don't recognize, hey, how can that be my guardian? That's someone, someone that's an archangel, is because I think whatever comes through is what we most need at the time. And it's almost like for me, when I'm tuning into people, when I'm doing a session on them, sometimes I can just get like boom, 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 like lots of different things coming in all at once. And it can be like, well, who is your real one all-encompassing guide? There's not one. There's lots all here at the moment and they all want to speak to you. So sometimes it can be that it's not going to be just one guardian angel. Sometimes it can actually be different versions of archangels or spirit guides or totem guides. So don't worry if an archangel's coming through. This is absolutely beautiful and perfect for you. We all sort of call in what we need because we're setting that intention for our highest good. So I hope that's helped answer that question for the person who was a bit worried about an archangel coming in. Also, I find the guardian angel, and I do go into this a lot more in Psychic Readings Intermediate Level, which is the next course that automatically kind of follows this one. I find that people do have stuff around meeting their guardian angel. There can be a lot of pressure on, this is it, this is my guardian, like meeting my soulmate. Like it has to be perfect. It has to be this and it has to be that. And I think that can often block us from the guardian coming in. And so I think that's another reason why we feel a bit more comfortable if we channel in through a different kind of guide that's maybe a bit more well-known or a bit more, that we're going to less doubt it and we're not going to overanalyze it too much. So that's one of the reasons that sometimes you might get another guide come in that is not your guardian angel. Now, Alan asked a really interesting question as part of struggling to find his guardian or his guide. Remember, it's not just about angels. It can be your guide as well. For those of you who don't believe in angels or aren't into angels, it's not part of your religion or part of your beliefs. And remember, angels are non-denominational, so you don't have to be a specific religion to believe in them. But some people but they just don't resonate with them. It's not their thing. And Alan mentioned he'd been struggling to find his guide and he'd been trying to find his spirit guide. And he was brave enough to say, I have to admit though, I'm a skeptic. Now, there is nothing wrong with feeling skeptical about, am I going to see an angel or am I seeing an angel or I don't know if I even believe in all this. That is totally fine because that is, just being honest with yourself. I don't think it's a good idea to pretend that you believe or that you're not skeptical if you are. However, I would add that I also think it's a little bit like going to the doctor and not believing that the doctor can help you. So, you're probably more likely not to get help from a doctor if you're constantly not thinking that there's any, that they're all quacks and they're all charlatans and there's nothing they can do to help you. It does help a lot more to have that faith and belief. That is definitely true. So, if you are a skeptic or if you're not sure, that's actually quite normal and natural. But if you're only ever, I'm not saying Alan's doing this, by the way, but if you're someone who only is doing a course like this or you're only doing readings to sort of disprove that it's not real, then you're probably not in the right space. You're probably going to find it much harder. And I don't believe that angels are out there just waiting to say, see, I'm right. I proved I existed. I think our faith is a big part of it as well. So I just thought I'd mention that as well. But also, taking into account that we are all incredibly individual and there can be, in Psychic Readings Intermediate Level, I talk about the 26 different reasons you might not be connecting with your angel. That's how many there can be. And one of the most common one is that we are expecting too much of ourselves and we're expecting it to be too perfect, to look like that angel, that angel wing behind me. And I understand this. Like I recently started reading another angel book that I hadn't read before. And the woman's a well-known, incredible person who's been working with angels for over 20 years. And she starts the book by saying, when I was 42, I was getting divorced and my life was in a hole and an angel appeared before me and told me that I was going to change my life and and showed me what books I was going to get published and that, and I thought, wow, that is not how angels started in my life. It wasn't a 3D angel appearing before me just while I was sitting in the lounge room and telling me this is how you're going to publish your courses on Udemy and this is how you're going to reach the world. Like, that's not at all my experience of working with angels. Mine was a very gentle, progressive thing that basically I opened myself up and they came in. But it wasn't just that they appeared magically in front of me. And for some people, I think they compare their experience to that. Like, I had to shift a lot of blocks. I had to work through a lot of stuff. It had to be a real conscious effort on myself of really wanting to connect with them. And it didn't happen straight away. So I'll be very honest with you with that. So some of what I teach in this course is a gentle progression, and as you move into the next course, there's a lot more sort of serious exercises that are designed to open up your clairvoyance and open up your connection with guides. So it is a work in progress. So please don't feel at any way that you're doing it wrong if it's not happening for you right away. So I hope that has helped. Hello, Mickey. Hello, Tracy Lee from Massachusetts. I love saying that word. It's such a great word to say. I think it's from that song that I love about being from Massachusetts. Hello from Florida, Francine. Hello, Rachel from South Florida. Mickey, I will answer that question later. Linda from New Hampshire. Hello. Timpy from the Philippines. Hello. So I've always wanted to go to the Philippines. It's one of the only Asian countries I haven't been to. So I hope that's helped anyone that's having a little bit of doubt, and I'll answer the question later about the guardian angels that are seen fighting Mickey. I'll go into that in a bit more depth. Please don't feel like you're doing it wrong just because it doesn't happen straight away for you. It is a work in progress. Trust your process. Those of you who have worked with me before know I do have 2 courses on Udemy where it's either a past life block. So if you're just too scared and you just don't believe and think bad things will happen if you're spiritual, or if you open up to guides, or if you take advice from guides, or if you see, that course can help with that. I also have one that's a bit gentler if you're not really into doing more meditations. If you want to do something a bit more practical, which is called Boost Your Psychic Gifts with EFT Tapping. And it's a way that's actually based on acupressure, which is similar to acupuncture, where you just release those fears about seeing your guides and then you feel more calm about it. And so it's not such an intense process. And so that can help too. And also get to the bottom of what the block is and maybe why you're not seeing them. So I hope that helps anyone who's having trouble with seeing your angels. Sometimes it might be that you need to go and get a healing, but maybe start small and look at some of those tips I suggested, where just trying to look at, okay, maybe is this a past life thing? Is it something that I just have a fear? Am I putting too much pressure on myself? And I mentioned too, if you're having trouble with this course, with this guardian meditation, then just go through to where the oracle cards are and start practicing with cards. And I often find that people feel much more confident once they see a bit of success with cards. They go, oh, now I can believe in this. It really is happening. And then go back in and do the guardian angel meditation again. And it just sort of, it almost like it flicks the switch a bit. So that can also help as well. Now, psychic attack. This is so interesting. Just how many questions have been coming in lately about psychic attack, because they kind of go in cycles. Now, the first thing, so I've got questions from Emma Denise and another lovely lady whose name I'm sorry I didn't catch when I was researching the questions. And the first one was, the basic, I feel like I'm under attack and how do I deal with this? And this was from someone who felt intuitively they've got their brother's girlfriend staying with them, and they feel like everything that this girlfriend is saying is kind of undermining them and making them feel unsettled. So the first thing I would say in a circumstance like that, like say you're at work, or you're in a situation where you're in a close proximity to someone and you're just feeling uncomfortable, is I would definitely honour that. Like, try not to think you're being paranoid or you're being mean, or there definitely could be something going on where that person is psychically attacking you. Especially if you feel that in your gut. But also what it can be, just to extend that, is it can be that you are picking up on someone's negative psychic debris, so their negative stuff. Like, they could be having their own pain body, and you're just absorbing that. Like, that's coming out in what they're saying, and it's not even necessarily directed at you. It's actually just that they're suffering in their own life, and you being extra sensitive, and because maybe you're working with a course like this or working with other courses, are picking up on it. And so it can be that as well. So both cases, can call for, working with crystals, working with your black tourmaline, working with your smoky quartz, asking your angels to shield you lots more and your guides to shield you. If you feel like, if you're like, no, Sal, I really do feel like this person just doesn't like me. And I've had this happen to me before. It's very interesting. This happened to me a few years ago where I was going to a concert with one of my very best friends, and we were bringing along someone who I kind of had always felt didn't like me. Just didn't, for whatever reason, just didn't like me. And I started to really suffer in the day. Like in weird ways, I got a bit paranoid. I got a bit like, I didn't feel like I wanted to be there. I didn't feel like I wanted to hang out with my friend who I loved to bits. I feel like I just wanted to go away and be on my own. And I realized in retrospect, it was that I felt like that they were psychically attacking me. And I think they were just doing it because they didn't like me. And that's a real thing. And I don't think, I didn't dishonor that. I actually did go off on my own for a while. But when those situations are happening, what you do is then you call your angels in to just put a mirror all around you so it goes back to them, but also at the same time, send that person unconditional love. Because interesting enough, that person and my relationship has changed over the years and it's much better now. And so I made that conscious effort to go, okay, just send her love, send her lots of love, imagining great things happening to her, imagine her being really happy in her life. And like I said, something within our dynamic shifted and changed a bit, and we get along a lot better now. And I don't feel that psychic attack anymore, or that kind of unlikingness of me. So just keep that in mind, that it might be that you just need to do a little ritual where you just send that person unconditional love, or just acknowledging that maybe they just don't like me. and try not to go into your stuff about it. Just be like, they just don't like me. And that could be for X, Y, Z. There's a number of reasons, and not everyone in the world's meant to like me. And just kind of send that love back to them, but also put that mirror, that shielded mirror, so that it goes right back out to them and you don't absorb any of it. So that's a couple of little things I would do. Now, going into a deeper level, I would say it's really important if this is an ongoing thing, if this is someone that has to be in your life all the time. So this particular woman that I went to the concert with, she didn't have to be in my life all the time. I really only was seeing her maybe once every 6 weeks, every 2 months. So it wasn't affecting me and impacting upon me. But if it's someone that you are connected to, say for example, quite a common example can be, say you have an ex and you've got children with that ex, and then they've got a new partner. So that's a common example where there can be stuff going on because that new partner might be threatened by you, or your needs or your demands or what's going on in with the children is impacting upon their life. So there can be, I've seen that as quite a common psychic attack thing. That's something where you might need to go and look at doing some past life healing on, or doing some healing on your own. Is that triggering some childhood stuff, just to heal the situation? So that's something that I would say would require deeper healing when it comes to psychic attack. So do all those other little things I suggested, but maybe add some big guns in and get a healing, or do a past life course like mine or someone else's, because there might be some deeper stuff you need to resolve on the karmic level and on the karmic sphere with this person. And that can be your family and friends as well, or people you work with. Now, I'm going to get to the next level of talking about that. So the lovely Emma spoke about how she's not sure. She asked this question on the Q&A board. She said she's feeling like she's loving the course, she's opening up her third eye, she's feeling really connected, but she's getting lots of physical symptoms and headaches, and she's not sure, and she's not sure what this is. But she mentioned she's only getting it at work, so she's not getting it at home. And she also mentioned that her team environment is actually quite positive, so she doesn't really think someone's attacking her. She's not sure, and I said to her, look, it might be that, yes, someone in that group is actually going through some trauma and they're not sharing that trauma. They're very private and you're picking up on it because you're opening up more. Or if it was a different scenario where they were feeling like, God, maybe someone doesn't like me, and they were sensing a dislike, again, I would go, okay, is this around the concept that my work environment is not safe? Does this come from my childhood? Does this come from a past life? is this another issue? Do I need to go in? Now, you might be saying, Sal, you're asking a lot of, questions here. How am I supposed to know what's the real answer? That's where your cards come in. So I would pull cards around that and see, is this past life? And, get confirmation from your oracle cards. You might get a big yes, or you might get a past life card, or it's time to do some more spiritual work on this. Or you might get a childhood. This is actually coming from this life and in your childhood, something to do with mother healing or father healing. So, or school or teaching or something like that. So when you're trying to get the deeper answers about these questions, go in and ask your cards. But as I said, it just could be that the work environment could feel unsafe. It could be that you're picking up and absorbing someone's energy because you're becoming more empathic as you open up your gifts. So psychic attack can have many, 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 many levels. Sometimes it can just be fixed with something as quick as some shielding, like I teach in this course. Sometimes you might need to go deeper. I have a course called Master Health Readings and Psychic Wellness. It is particularly suited for those who would like to do healings and health readings, but also those who want to be professional readers and want to stop burning themselves out. I've got a whole section on psychic wellness, how you don't burn yourself out, and all the tips I use, all the different grounding and raising your vibration, and all the tips I use when you're doing a lot of readings to avoid burning yourself out. So that could help too. That's on Udemy as well. So there's different methods you could apply. You might need to get a healing. You might need to do one of my smaller courses on Udemy about healing blocks, or you might need to do someone else's courses on blocks. But it is about just going, okay, maybe there's a few simple steps I can take. Maybe this might be a bit of a longer step for me. Maybe this is going to take a couple of months. Like if it's something like where someone's living with you, for example, then it might need a bit of deeper kind of work to kind of overcome it and get through it. So I hope that has helped with understanding about how to deal with psychic protection and psychic attack. There is some very basics in this course. As I said, there's some crystals, there's some little basics, there's some angels that can help you. But if you want to go deeper, you've got some strategies there as well. So I'm going to go on to, I don't think I will quickly answer Mickey's question. You said you can see two guardian angels that are fighting and you see scary images while meditating and you want it to stop and going away. Okay, Mickey, something like that, I would suggest you are either picking up a dark energy. That to me sounds like a dark energy, because guardian angels, when they're coming in from the light, aren't meant to be fighting. They're meant to be just there helping. They're meant to be less messages of love. So I would either use some of this psychic protection that I've talked about today that's in your course, or some of those strategies. If you see scary images while you're meditating, my first thought with that is always that you've either picked up a dark entity or you have a past life where doing spiritual work led to bad things, and that's triggering you. So as I said, I do have a course. You can either go and see a professional healer and get a past life regression on someone who does past life regression. I have a course, it's only 2.5 hours, that will teach you how to do it yourself. So to do a regression where you could clear anything and ask that question to your guides, like, anything where I've done spiritual work or been meditating, bad things happen to me. Like maybe I was persecuted, maybe I was separated from the people I love, maybe I was hurt, maybe I was victimized. Going in and clearing and breaking those binds and shackles so you don't attract that in anymore. Or, as I said, looking at maybe I've absorbed, asking your guides and angels to protect you from something that maybe you're picking up while you're meditating. So you might just need a bit of extra shielding and psychic protection. So I would try those things first, lovely. That would be how I would approach something like that. Hello, Alona from Winnipeg. Alona, thank you for your beautiful review. I thanked you just earlier. I read your review today in How to Be Psychic. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to keep working through, and again, if you've got those questions, please pop them in here. Now, Shruti says she's having problems, and this might help a bit Miki as well, with seeing her third eye. I can't see my third eye, and I'm having struggles with that. Now, it's such a funny question, because when I first saw that, I thought, the interesting thing is that people do have a lot of stuff around not being able to see their third eye. In the spiritual community, it's obviously a big goal and an aim that you can see your third eye. And it's obviously a sign that you are opening up, and then a sign that you are connecting. But I'll be very honest with you. There are occasions when I'm doing my readings where I can't see my third eye, but that doesn't mean that it's not working. So sometimes the pressure to see something and to have this, again, I think this is where we we do ourselves a disservice because we overanalyze, a bit like seeing angels, what something's meant to be. So sometimes we like put the pressure on us. I'm meant to see this big open third eye and it's meant to look like this, and because it's not, then I'm not psychic, or I can't do readings because I can't see this. And this is totally not the truth. For me, if right now you're not seeing your third eye, that doesn't mean you are not psychic. If you are not seeing your third eye, it doesn't mean you can't do readings. If you are not seeing your third eye, it doesn't mean you can't pull cards and get answers. It might mean for now that there is a block on your third eye. I would step back and not worry about that pressure. I would just say to my guides, okay, take me either towards the right healer that can shift it, or the right course, or the right guided meditation. Try and do it yourself first. Visualize basically things being pulled out. So I do this a lot more in the Advanced Tarot VIP program with Advanced Channeling and Clairvoyant Healing, where you just visualize Archangel Raziel pulling things out of your third eye and sending them to the light. So rituals like that can help a lot. But I would actually just let it go. Like, I know that sounds weird, but sometimes not thinking and worrying about it means it's actually just opening on its own, and it's doing what it needs to do. The only time I'd be really worried that I can't see my third eye is if I stopped getting messages from my angels, or I stopped getting guidance from my angels, or I started getting really bad readings and things weren't making sense. That to me is when it becomes a problem. If it's just that you can't see how you visualize a third eye, that to me is not something to beat yourself up about or feel that you're really blocked and it's a big, massive issue. I would just treat that one as a little thorn in the side, but not a big, massive thing to be worried about. So I hope that helps a little bit, Shruti. Start with some small little things. There are crystals that you can place on it. There is energy that you can work with. Courses about shifting blockages around your third eye, like my EFT one. But also maybe just work with your guides before you go to sleep and ask them to pull out anything that's blocking it. It might be something very small. And if you're finding none of that is working, then look at maybe going and working with a healer. But don't let that stop you from doing your beautiful spiritual work, because I don't think it's a prerequisite that you have to see your third eye to be able to do readings. Liza, hello, lovely. Do I have another course for psychic development? I do. Which ones? Can you pop down which ones you're enrolled in already? Because I have lots. So on Udemy, the one that comes after this is called Psychic Readings Intermediate Level, and that focuses on basically this course, but supercharged. So lots more on how to tap into your clairvoyance, lots of exercises on your clairaudience, how to connect with your guides and angels on a higher level, how to attract clients into your business with using meditations with your guide and angels, forging contracts with them, doing higher level oracle card reading, and also how to identify what blocks you're having and how to clear them. So that could help a lot. That's probably the most immediate one that comes to mind, but let me know if you're enrolled in other courses. I do have other courses that are specifically for going higher with oracle card readings and tarot readings. So that's like the love readings course and the career readings course and the health readings course for health readings. So that can help too. So just pop in there which ones you're enrolled in already, and I can help more with that advice. So I hope that's helped anyone that feels, oh, I don't see my third eye, I mustn't be psychic. So that for me is not true. It just might be that you're going to find it in a different way in your own time. And as long as you can see that you're making progress with you, like you're getting messages and you're feeling like you are making progress. Now, okay. So, sorry, who asked me this question? Now I've totally forgotten. So, how can I tell if I'm just being overwhelmed with psychic attack? And I'm gonna segue this into another. Oh, Elena, you got the intermediate course and the tarot, and you're very excited to learn more. Awesome. You're going to love them. There's so much. I mean, I love this course so much. This was my course. How to Be Psychic was the first course I ever created. And I created it out of a workshop that I did with people in Manly. And I just love it. It's my heart course because it was my first one. But I will say that the other ones that go on from this do go much deeper and higher. They take you onto another more ascended level, I guess. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, the current world circumstances. Liza, you did How to Be Psychic? Okay, perfect. So yeah, now I would go in and enroll in Psychic Readings Intermediate Level. That's the next one that follows, that goes on from this one. Tippy, you're welcome, lovely. Considering our current world events, I think it's very natural that a lot of us would be not sure if we're being psychically attacked or if we're just feeling anxious and overwhelmed. It's very natural when we're anxious and overwhelmed to feel tired and our guards and our shields to come down and to absorb more energy. So both things can be happening at once. But yes, sometimes it's just that we're anxious and we're feeling a bit paranoid and we're not actually being psychically attacked. So with that, again, I often tend to go and ask my cards that, like, what is this? What's going on? And I ask them those questions and see what cards come out to give me more information about it. I'm now going to talk, I'm going to deal with one more topic before I go into this next topic, but I want to just let you guys know. I want to talk about feeling disconnected from our guides during this time and during COVID, and I would like us to be able to do a group prayer and a group healing for what is going on in India and what is going on in the rest of the world. But before I do, I just want to talk a little bit about judgment and experiencing judgment in readings. This has come up for me quite a bit lately. And I think that's also because right now it's hard for the world not to be in judgment because we're seeing so many horrific things on television and there's so much political divisiveness in our political sphere. It is really challenging as a human being. And I've been doing this work for a long time and I'm finding it exceedingly challenging to not be in judgment. And crossing that over into your readings, it can be hard when you are giving readings to not judge what's going on and condemn whoever your friend has come to ask about, whoever the person's come to ask about, or if you're giving readings for your friends. So in the love readings course, for example, I talk a lot more about how to give non-judgmental love readings and how that is so important because often with love, more than any other type of reading, I would say, people tend to feel judged when they are coming for a reading. For the simple reason that if your love life is in a shambles, like say you're in a relationship that's quite unhappy, then you're going to be, the only way to get through to the reader what's going on for you is you're probably going to be venting a fair bit like you would with a friend. You'll be like, my partner does this and this and this and I'm really unhappy with this and this. I'm not sure if they're the right person, or it's taking ages for them to ask me to marry them, or, you know, this is wrong, X, Y, Z, I'm really unhappy about this. And it's very easy for a client to lapse into treating a reader like a friend by venting about everything that's wrong that's going on for them. Now, the problem with this as a reader is you're not getting the full story, and in most occasions in a love situation, there is going to be two sides to the story. And what can often happen, which is a bit interesting, and you don't realize this until you start doing a lot of love readings, is that the person you're reading for can be like unloading on you, or if you're doing a healing, unloading and unloading and unloading about the misery that is their love life. And then what will happen is they'll suddenly, when you start kind of giving them feedback and going, yeah, this isn't good that they're doing this and this is bad and, you know, this is wrong and, you know, condemning what their partner's doing, you actually might set up a cycle where they start feeling worse and they actually feel judged. That's the natural, and you know this from when you're with your friends. Like if you start talking about what your boyfriend's done and then your friends start attacking your boyfriend for it, you then can often not end up feeling worse because you feel like you're being an idiot for staying with them. I know that sounds rather convoluted, and as I said, I do explain that a lot better in the love readings course. But just be aware with love readings, if someone is venting and they're judging their partner, and it might be for good reason, be careful to take the objective, non-partial person, like a mediator. You want to give them sympathy, and yeah, that must feel terrible. That's not a nice experience. But try to get them on the path of, okay, well, what do you think you're meant to be learning from this without being preachy? And try to get them on a bit more of a spiritual evolution path where they can actually find some salvation. Not just they've come to you, they've dump. You've given them some cards to say things will get better, and then they go away, or things will get worse, this isn't the right person for you, and they go away and they actually just feel bad from the end of the reading. So they don't really feel like they've actually gotten anything out of it. And you might know with your conversations with your friends that sometimes when you go and have a vent session afterwards, you don't necessarily feel better. So just be aware of that. Just be aware of how you are judging in your readings. It's natural to judge if someone's telling you an awful situation with their partner where their partner's not fulfilling their needs, or they're not getting what they want, or their partner's behaving in a certain way that's frustrating to them. and leaving them to feel a lot in their pain, and that's why they're seeing you. But just be conscious of not, it's okay to say that must feel awful. I'd hate to feel like that. No wonder you feel like this. But be careful about condemning the partner, is what I'm saying. I've had this happen to me when I've gone to readers before, and then I've found that I've spent a lot of time over explaining and defending my partner or defending my ex or whatever, and it ends up then me just feeling worse. I feel like nothing's really been accomplished. So that reader's in judgment of my ex or the current partner, and I'm then feeling like, well, there's not really any solutions here, and I go away kind of feeling like I wish I hadn't had the reading. So just be conscious of coming from a space of love when you're talking about and recognizing that, okay, how can I subtly get across to the person that's asking the love question that maybe they have a role to play in this too. Maybe this person's acting like this because X, Y, Z. Bringing compassion and fierce forgiveness into it as well. So I just thought I'd mention that with judgment. It's a very interesting one. It does crop up in readings. And as I said, because we're living in a time right now where it's so nearly impossible not to judge with the bombardment of what's going on in the world, and who to blame for what's going on in the world. I thought I would just transpire that a little bit into the reading front as well. So, Liza, you did the tarot one too? Awesome, excellent. The tarot one's great for learning tarot, but if you want to go deeper into connecting with your guides and angels and your psychic development, definitely psychic readings intermediate level will be much better for you. So before I go into talking about how to manage when you're feeling really disconnected from your guides because of current world circumstances, I'm just going to answer Timpy's question. I don't think anyone else has asked me any questions. I think that's everything. Timpy's asked me, what is the best to do when the cards don't make sense, or I feel like I don't get any messages or guidance from angels or guides? Now, the first thing I'd say is, if the cards don't make sense, I do have a special YouTube clip that I will pop in here called Cloudy Readings. Sometimes cards don't make sense because we're asking the wrong question. I had that recently happen with a student who mentioned that a student mentioned that one of their clients had asked them the question about their marriage, the future of their marriage, and the cards were all showing good, positive things. And then this client turned around and said, well, actually, my partner and I aren't together anymore. They've run off with someone else and then they're married to someone else. And I went back to that person. I said, well, it's no wonder that reading didn't really make sense, because actually there is no marriage. The cards don't understand that. The marriage no longer exists. What do I need to know about my marriage isn't happening because that person's now married to someone else. So do you know what I mean by the literal, what you're asking the angels or what you're asking the cards sometimes has to be that literal, because otherwise the cards will just not give you the answers that are proper and correct, because they're not understanding, the question's not relevant. So sometimes it can be the question, sometimes it can be that you're having an off day, and sometimes it can be that you do need to do a little bit more work. So as I said before, maybe doing a bit more practice on some of these clairvoyant exercises and do a bit more about that. Or it can be that it's the wrong question, like the person's just not meant to know right now. That can also be a factor or a contingent. Or it can be that while the person was shuffling or asking, they were thinking about 25 different things at once. So as you can see, there's lots of different reasons. There's no need to panic. It does happen. Sometimes readings just don't make sense. What I tend to do is I will step back and I will go, okay, and I'll ask my angels, why isn't this reading not making sense? What's going on? Is it the question? Do I need to rephrase it? Is it, what are the cards actually saying? Is there anything that makes sense? And then I will wait and see if my guides will give me anything further. Then sometimes if it's just really, I'm getting nothing else at all, nothing's coming through, I will actually start again. Now it doesn't happen very often, but if I go through all those normal processes, I touch the cards, nothing more is going through, I try to connect a bit more clairvoyantly, I ask the angels for more information, I speak to the client and they say, and I go, okay, is this definitely the question you need answered? Could there be something else going on here? Can you give me a bit more information about the situation? I know people don't like that digging. They go, that's not very, you're not being psychic enough if you're digging. But sometimes we need more information for the cards to make sense. I talk about that more in the intermediate level courses as well. But just say to them, okay, look, this isn't quite making sense to me. Can you give me a bit more information? And just ask a few leading questions. It doesn't have to be getting the whole reading. Like, is this about with your love life or with your career or, da 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 da. That often can, even just a one sentence answer from them can make the whole cards make sense as well. So see if that is what could be going on, Timpy. Like, it could be that. Now, on another level, sort of going, if none of that is happening and you are having it regularly happen, like if it's quite frequently happening that the cards aren't making sense or you're not getting messages from angels, and you've tried doing some of my clairvoyant exercises and clairaudient exercises that I have in psychic readings intermediate level, and that's not helping, then I would look at maybe saying, okay, do I have a block? So the Boost Your Psychic Gifts with EFT course is great for that I have. If you're not going to do my course, do someone's course on blocks and releasing it. It's most people, actually it's not right, it's not most people, many people find they have blocks as they start opening up. It's definitely not most, but a lot of people do. It's probably more common than you realise. I still, before every reading I do, will do the EFT exercises that I teach in that course, because I still feel nervous sometimes and I still worry that maybe my angels won't give me the information I need, even though I've been doing this for over 12 years. So be rest assured, sometimes it might be there's just a small block and you just need to kind of release that block to have that confidence as well. So I hope that has helped me. Is it possible you're using the wrong set of cards? Yes. Great question, Kartik. Yes, you can be. Sometimes you're not meant to be using a certain deck. There are some decks I have been given or I've bought over the years that I have done no more than 1 or 2 readings with. I've done the reading and I've gone, oh, no, I'm sorry, that's no. Then I've gone back again and I've gone, no, and I just have stopped using that deck or I've gifted it away. So yes, it could be the wrong deck. As I said, it does depend on your circumstances, because sometimes it might be that it's only happened to you as a one-off, and then it could be one of those cloudy readings. But if it's happening to you a lot, could be the deck, could be that you have a block that you need to look at working at. So I hope that has helped a bit more, but that's a great question. Okay, so before we begin talking about being disconnected from our guides and angels during this difficult time, if anyone's got any other questions. Oh, perfect. Okay, Timmy, it only happened in one particular question though. It's possible you've experienced something in your life and it's affecting the reading. I suffered a bad fall a few days ago and I had to go to the hospital. Well, yeah, absolutely. So you're saying that you had to go to hospital and then you did a reading and the reading was off. I mean, I think if you have had any kind of trauma recently, then yeah, it's more likely that readings aren't going to be very clear. If you've been sick, if you've been unwell, if you've been exhausted. So in the lecture that follows How to Meet Your Guardian Angel, I talk all about the different blockages you could be experiencing to getting connection from your guides and angels. And yeah, one of them is if you've been sick or if you've been unwell or you've had a recent trauma or if you're exhausted or overwhelmed. So yes, that definitely could happen as well. So can you let me know, Timpy, if that's what you're asking, if you had a fall, you went to hospital and then you tried to do a reading afterwards, if that's what you mean? Or if you're saying, has that permanently affected me? So just pop that in and let me know before I go on to the next question. And if anyone else has got one in, pop one in now before. I'm just going to scroll through and make sure I haven't missed anything. Nope. Nope. Okay, so I think I think I've got that right to be with you. I think if you've had a bad fall and had to go to hospital, your readings might be a bit strange for a while because you've had a shock. It's having a shock like that. So when I had an operation some years ago, and I didn't do any readings for clients for a week. Yeah, you waited for 48 hours. Yeah, look, I would wait even longer than 48 hours. A bad fall where you have to go to hospital, that's a pretty significant trauma. That's not just, I would probably wait longer because your being just needs to settle a bit. You could be a bit panicky still, and you could still be in a little bit of aftershock, if that makes sense. So yeah, I would wait till your body feels a bit more healed. Going to a hospital is a big thing. Yeah, I would definitely wait longer than that. I'd wait a week or so before doing more readings. as it could be impacting on it. You might need to just work with your guides and angels and ask them to release any of that shock that you absorbed in that moment where you fell, because it might be blocking your receptors, your ability to receive things, definitely. So I hope that has helped, my loves. So what Priyanka asked recently, she said, I'm feeling, for the last couple of months, I've been feeling really disconnected from doing readings, from working with my spirit guides because of what's going on in my life. So her partner had recently lost his job, the current world circumstances, and she'd been feeling disconnected. Now, this is really, really common, and my heart goes out to everyone that has this experience. It is natural right now that we are feeling less connected to our guides and angels, for the simple reason that there's just, if your body goes into, and your being and your mind goes into survival because suddenly you've got to figure out how to pay the bills, then it is going to be harder for your guides and angels to get through, because you're just going to be in panic. You're not going to be seeing, and they might be sending you all the signs in the universe, but you can't see any of them because you're panicked. And I've had this happen to me a lot in my life, where I've been in such a state that I can't see the solution. And so sometimes what I have to do is I will often either go for a walk, I'll start to connect a lot more with nature. I will just try to, okay, I'm going to put the pressure off myself to connect with my guides and just focus on something else, and then that can happen. But yeah, I will often look at grounding, and I actually suggested to her, if it's something like manifesting, or money that's panicking you, then I do have a manifesting course on Udemy. But lots of people have manifesting courses, so looking at working at your guides and helping you with manifesting. But yeah, things might be a bit disconnected for a while, and that's for the obvious reason that if we go into financial trauma, we can feel a little bit like, hey, where are you? Why aren't you here helping me? But sometimes we're not meant to have information yet, because we have to learn something from this trauma. And from someone who's been in survival a lot of times in my life, I've been in all sorts of pickles. I've moved to London, ended up with no job, no home, and I know that it was really hard to, have the faith in those times. But it is about just going, okay, I'm just going to believe that they are working behind the scenes to help me, even if I can't hear them and even if I can't see them. And I'm just going to set a small prayer saying, guides, just help me feel your presence. Help me feel patient that I will connect with you again in perfect time. And if you feel like you're not connecting in that channeling way, then just keep pulling your beautiful cards. Turn to them. Cards are kind of like the easy peasy way to connect with your guides, because you can play with them and they're a little bit more playful. So I would think in situations like that, when you're experiencing disconnection, I just play with your cards a bit and try not to take it so seriously, just and tell yourself this trauma will pass. Well, I hope that's helped Priyanka and anyone else that's been feeling a bit disconnected right now, just to keep saying this is going to pass. Francine, is it possible to call in too many or too little guides to help your readings? No, I don't think so. I don't think too many. I mean, I have been at times where I've just gone, okay, call in every angel of the kingdoms to come in and be with me. So no, not too many, but maybe too little. Just say anyone who can help, please come in and help me. That's the way I do, for the best and highest good. That's how I do it. I wouldn't worry about a specific number being too much or too little. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is I would like to, and just pop more questions in and I can answer them afterwards, but I'm going to do a little meditation for us. I would like, if everyone could who's watching this, to just take a moment I'm just going to send some healing out into the universe, and if you could take a moment to do this too, to help heal what is going on in beautiful India and in the rest of the world as well, and just pray for solutions to come in as soon as possible to help people. That's kind of like my little intention for a prayer and a healing right now. So if I could just get everybody just to close your eyes and just take a deep breath in and breathe out. And just bring your attention into your body, or into wherever you are sitting in the room, wherever you are. And just take another deep breath in. And just breathe out. I'd like you just to imagine, and even if you can't visualize it, just put that intention out there, that there is a huge, beautiful shield of glowing white, yellow, golden light surrounding you right now, all around like your auric field, just surrounding you and protecting you. And I'd like you to ask your guides and angels to draw more of that light up from heaven, from the sky, Mother Earth, Father Sky, connecting up with that nature energy, and also connecting with that angelic and spirit guide energy, and just drawing that beautiful white golden light down into that energy around you and absorbing it. So almost like a waterfall of light. You just feel it coming down through your head, through your face, around your shoulders, down through your chest and your heart, through your torso, down through your belly, through your thighs, right down through your legs, and into your feet and into the earth. Just cleansing and purifying any negative vibrations or feelings or thoughts or fears that you're having right now. And I'd like you now to focus that attention into the center of your stomach and feel that golden white light just expanding into your stomach, connecting you with your inner light and your inner wisdom and your inner capacity to heal the world and heal yourself. And then just take another big breath in and breathe in that light. And then breathe it out. And then I'd like you to imagine sending that light out now, all over the globe, all over to any images you may have seen or any experiences you've known of what's happening in Mother India, what's happening in the US, what's happening in Europe. Just sending images of light and love and calling on your guides and angels to amplify that light and take it out there. To soothe those who need to be soothed right now. Ask all of the angels, the guides, the ascended masters in the universe to help pour that light all over any place on the planet that needs it desperately right now. Any images you may have seen or experienced, to bathe those images in that beautiful light, to visualize that healing being sent there now. For there to be relief and solutions. And incredible healing miracles. Send a prayer out there that the hospital beds that are needed, for the oxygen that is needed, that everything that is needed to heal this situation right now comes to pass, comes into physical reality and helps those that need it. And just feel or visualize your guides and all of the guides of the universe, of the planet, just sharing their light and shedding their light all onto these areas that so desperately need it. And then just say thank you, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. And in your own time, just open your eyes and just keep sending those beautiful prayers and that beautiful healing light to areas in the planet that you know that really need it right now. So I hope that's helped those of you that have been feeling a little bit rattled by what's going on and wish that there was something you could do more to help. If we can just keep sending our prayers and our healing energy there and praying for incredible solutions to what's going on in that world level right now. So thank you. So you can do even just a mini version of that any time that you feel like you need to, just bringing that energy up and just sending it out to the universe. So if anyone has any further questions before I go, I'm here to answer them. So it seems strange going back into answering questions after that prayer and that healing. And as I said, I'm hoping that everyone has benefited from what we've shared today. I'm hoping that everyone's got something out of this. If you've got any questions and you're not joining me live, pop them in. Just keep in mind that if you're not here live, and you can tell if you're not here live because you can see what the date is and what, like, might say 3 days ago, then just put hashtag replay so that I know. It'll take me a few days to get to all the questions. So thank you, everyone. I think that's everything. I can't see any other questions. Thank you, Liza and Kartik and Timpi, and who else was here today? Linda and Christine. Thank you, Alona, Miki, Lynn and Tracy Lee, and everyone else that joined me today. Thank you so much for coming. And this will be uploaded. Thank you, Tracy. This will be uploaded onto YouTube, so you can always go and watch that. If you have to sort of cut and paste and not watch it straight away, you'll be able to find it then. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me, and I hope you have an absolutely beautiful weekend. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you, Francine. Thanks, everybody. Bye.